I'm back with another build video. So this time we are building Tiana's palace from the movie The Princess and the Frog. So it is a Disney movie and she is a Disney princess, but her palace is a little bit different to the others because it's a restaurant, which I really like the idea of. I think that it's just amazing to have something that's different to just a standard palace, I guess. And I believe that she does have a palace as well, because I guess Prince Navi does have his own palace, but she lives in the restaurant, or I mean, maybe she goes home at night time. I don't really know, but I do think it's interesting either way, and I love the fact that she has just like an ordinary dream of owning a restaurant, which I think that a lot of young girls can relate to. Maybe not necessarily everybody can relate to the restaurant idea. I know that my sister can, because my sister's dream is to own a restaurant, so maybe she's a little bit like Tiana, but my dream would probably be building things on the Sims 4, which I'm doing now. So I guess I'm living my dream just like Tiana's doing. But anyway, this build was a lot of fun to do. It didn't take that long. It probably took about 3.5 hours to do the exterior, which isn't that long. Seeing as how long I spent doing the lights on the build, I probably spent about 2 hours just doing the lights alone. And then I had to redo them because there was a glitch in the game, which meant that I had the plot. It was all finished, and then it kept registering it as generic, and I could only access the plot if it was unfurnished. So it was really strange because lights count as furnishings on a build because it's on the decorations mode, and it was just disappearing. Like every single time I clicked on the build, it would just be completely unfurnished, and it was awful. So I had to do so much more for this build, and it probably ended up taking an extra 2 hours. Which is a shame, but it doesn't matter though because I do enjoy building anyway, so it's not a big deal to me. But if you're having the same glitch and you don't enjoy building so much, then I feel really bad for you. Then again though, why are you on The Sims and building if you don't enjoy it? Go and do something else. But no, this build, I think that my favourite part about it was the interior. So if you're going to stay around for part 2, then that will be coming up really soon after this video. The reason why I decided to split it into 2 was because I didn't want to speed up part 2 anymore. Usually when I do builds, and I do the interior the same time as I do the exterior, and I do it like at the end bit, I do tend to speed it up a little bit too much, or like, I don't know, I guess I edit out the boring bits. But I don't really want to do that with the interior in this build because it took me probably as long to do the interior as it would do with just a normal mansion build. So I thought that in doing that, it would be interesting to have it a little bit slowed down so I could speak through it in part 2. Which I'm actually really excited to show you because it has like a proper theatre and everything. And I did use the lights on the inside as well. So yeah, I tried to make it look as accurate as I could. Anyway though, so The Princess and the Frog is set in New Orleans, and New Orleans is one of the places that I've been really wanting to go in America. It just looks fantastic. Not only that though, so many TV series that I watch. I say so many, I'm just talking about one here. It's the originals. I really want to go and see where that is filmed, and I don't even know if they used New Orleans. I mean, it may just be a backdrop. I mean, I don't know about the originals. I don't know how many backdrops there are. But I would love to go and see about what it looks like. I mean, I'm not expecting vampires to greet me when I'm there or anything. That would be insane. But no, I think that it would just be really interesting to go and see. Also for Princess and the Frog, because I would love to go and see the atmosphere because it just looks so friendly. So if anybody is from New Orleans watching this, I would love to hear your opinion about what it's like. You know, is it really jazzy like the TV series sort of make out that it is? I don't know. Because sometimes things in England get over-exaggerated, and I mean, many times very few of it's true. So it's really interesting to be able to share your experience of what it's actually like. Anyway, at this point, what I was doing is I was rearranging the 2 chimneys. They were a nightmare because I had to make them even, and the build has these like massive chimneys with crowns on. It's so pretty. I just love it. I love how this building is like a done-up old rundown build. I just love that because it's just so industrial and just really cool. I love builds like this, and I would love to go to a restaurant like this as well. I don't know if Disneyland has one. Disney World, actually. I think they changed it. I don't know. I talk about the one in Orlando, but I don't know. It's been ages since I've been to the Disney World. I went to Universal and a few places around, but I did tend to miss out the children's parks just because I feel like it takes the magic away if you go by yourself. Like, I'd love to go in the future, like when I have my own family and stuff, but just right now I just feel really bad just going around by myself meeting the princesses. I need a child to go with, so I'm saving that for a really special time. But yeah, I would love to know if they do have a Tiana's restaurant. I did see a lot of themed restaurants in the Epcot park because I went there with my husband. That was crazy. I actually went to the Italy park and we had a pizza, but oh my goodness, the pizza was huge. It took like an hour and a half, and then when it arrived, we understood what they were trying to do. Like, we understood why it took so long, because we were thinking all the way through, how long does it take to cook pizza? I would imagine a pizza of that size would take like a day or something. It was just insane. Saw a really interesting comment on, I think it was the Tangled video that I did, of somebody saying about there was a place in the Orlando area that did meet and greets, and it was like an old princessy area and people would dress up there and like go and meet people. But they closed it down because it wasn't big enough or something, but apparently it would be like perfect to put a Tangled tower there, which would be phenomenal. Like, I would have loved to have visited Tangled's tower. That would be great. In fact, it's really strange, and I don't know if I've ever mentioned this story, but the place that I live at the moment, I mean, while I'm filming this video, I live in Germany, and I'm currently in between moving from Germany to England. But the place I live in Germany has this massive tower, and it's sort of in the middle of nowhere, and it's really run down and old, and I've never understood it because I've always wondered to myself, could that be a tower that sort of inspired Rapunzel? And it could even be the one, to be fair. I don't know. Because obviously Rapunzel was set in Germany to begin with. What if it was inspired by that tower that I live probably 15 to 20 minutes away from? I have no idea. But I need to find out before I leave what that tower is there for, and I will. Anyway though, we were outside and this was the decking area. So I tried to improvise this because we don't get to see a lot of it. But I really did want to put some extra tables and chairs out here. Now, what I did do on the inside of the restaurant, I did cut back on the amount of like tables and chairs that there are. And that is because I don't like putting too many. I think I've mentioned this before though, but there's nothing worse than nobody turning up to a restaurant. So I always like to make sure that I put in just a minimal amount to make it look busier. I think that's the right way to do it. Because I think that if you have like a venue or something, if you're like going to a restaurant and there are only maybe 2 or 3 people in there, then it looks best if you have 2 or 3 tables. That's why I picked a really small church for my wedding when I got married, because I wanted it to look like there were a lot more guests than there actually were, because I probably had about 60 to 70 people just coming to the day do. And that's actually quite a small amount compared to other weddings. And yeah, I mean, I've seen churches that could fit 500 people in. So I wanted to go for something smaller. I wanted to do the same for this restaurant because I think it's pretty good. But going back to weddings though, we do actually have a wedding venue at the back of this restaurant. It was something extra that I put in because I didn't know what to put at the back of Tiana's palace. And I thought that maybe when she's done making her own dreams come true, she'd want to make other people's dreams come true. So I thought that was a nice thing to add in. So you could actually use it as a wedding venue if you wanted to. You could have your Sims come here, they could visit it, they could sit down for a meal afterwards, and it could be really fun. So yeah, you could spend the whole day here and it could be a fantastic event. I would actually love that. I really hope that in the future they will make something happen like that you could have this as a wedding venue. I mean, you could do it, but I would actually love staff that would sort of make that happen for you, like a wedding planner or something. That was rumoured to be happening in the new city expansion pack, but I don't think that it is. I've just heard so many rumours now. I'm getting bored of all these rumours. I want to hear truth because I hear too many rumours. I think it'll be interesting though, and let me know in the comments what sort of careers would you want to see in The Sims 4 coming up. I think me personally, the sort of careers that I'd like to see would be, I think, a Ghostbuster. I would love that. I liked that for The Sims 3 though. It did get annoying though because the ghost didn't look very realistic. I would also like to see a movie maker, so like I guess a film director. What else? A pop star, a model, stuff like that. I think like a celebrity pack. I would love that. Like a celebrity expansion pack would be something that I'd be really interested in. But I've got a lot of different opinions for what I want in the game. At this point, we were going around the sides and adding some windows. I had to make up what the back looked like because there aren't any pictures of it. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look great. It's not much. It's nothing compared to the front, I don't think, but it will do. If you want to change it, you absolutely can. Feel free to. I won't take offense. And if you do, you can go stick it back on the Sims 4 gallery so other people can download your version if you want to. I really don't mind. I mean, as long as you're improving it, it really doesn't make any difference to me. And I think that it's a great way of sharing stuff with the community. Now, this was when I started putting in the lights. So we started off with some basic lights and it brightened up with, I think, progression. Now, in the middle of the build, you'll notice some dance floors. I didn't really mention those when I was putting them in because I was too busy talking about something else, as I usually am. But I wanted to put them in because it gave an amazing look to the front porch area, like when you come into the build. I don't really know what to say. It's like a stage room, I guess. It looks really good at nighttime because you get that fantastic light that hits the flooring. And yeah, I mean, if you look straight up, I'll try and put it into the screenshots of part 2 to try and do it justice. But I definitely want to use that for another build just because I think that it went really well. So what I was doing is I started to add some of these really strange lights around the edges of the build because Tiana's palace has something similar to this, and I thought that this was close I was going to get because the other ones were too small for this. I wanted it to really shine. So I used these unlocked ones. You can only unlock them from the menu, unfortunately. You have to use like a little cheat, that's what I did. But I think they look good. I tried to make them look as neat as possible, and that is what I spent a lot of time doing actually, because it took a long time to make them look neat because I'm not the best at making things look neat, especially handwriting. I'm not very good at that, and the handwriting took me probably the longest out of the lights to do just because I'm not very good at it. In fact, a lot of my family are very, very good at handwriting and things. My sister's very good at calligraphy, my uncle is. But no, I should have probably learnt at school, but I had a bit of trouble because I actually write with both hands. I'm ambidextrous. So I think half my skills go to each, which is crazy because I tend to draw with my left hand. I'm a confident drawer, like I really enjoy drawing. But no, handwriting, I'm not good with. It's really strange because I actually paint with my right hand. So I don't think that makes sense to a lot of people. It's a little bit odd, like especially when I'm doing my makeup and stuff, I just switch hands. This is actually when I started to do the lights. So what I decided to do was I made a rough copy of where I wanted the letters and then I went over it in a really neat way. So what I actually had to do was, after doing the individual placements of each and every light, I had to then go over every single one of them and change the colour of it because I wasn't happy with the lights being like a white colour. I wanted it to be a green, and by doing that I had to go on live mode and change them individually. Now I couldn't unfortunately set it as a room because if I set it as a room it would delete after I actually got rid of a wall. It's like a glitch in the game that happens. And also if I set it as a room just as now, like it would change all the other lights, if that makes sense. So if you know what I'm talking about, then yeah, that's why I couldn't do that weird thing and I had to just do it individually. So I did try and follow the handwriting as much as possible, and at this point there was like a brief change. This is where I changed it all to green. It was difficult because the problem is, on this live mode as well, if you make one mistake and click the wrong button, for instance, set the colour for the whole room, then you can't undo the mistake because it's not on build mode. So I really, really had to look over this and make sure that I was doing everything correctly because it would have been so irritating if I'd had to just do it all again just for the sake of clicking a button wrong. After that was finished, we were then going on to the garden area. The garden I decided to film at night time just because I love this build at night. And I just think it looks so magical with all the lights currently. I think it looks great. So yeah, I mean, I was definitely happy to get started on the garden. I was stuck, but I think I said at the beginning about the wedding venue. So you'll see what I mean. It's like a really Pinterest themed wedding, I guess. I mean, I love looking at Pinterest personally. I went to an amazing wedding recently. It was one of my husband's best friend's weddings, but it was a great time and they had like a really Pinterest themed wedding. It was fantastic. They made all like homemade drinks and stuff. And it was like a marquee. It was amazing. Like it reminded me just of this, but it was a lot bigger than this. It was great. I thought I would take some inspiration from that wedding and do it on this build because I really love going to weddings. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. I mean, I don't often get invited to weddings, but when I get the chance, I jump at it just because I love it. I really do. I think that weddings are just such a fantastic day to go to, and I'm excited for my sister's wedding, to be honest, because she's getting married I think in September next year. So she's actually having two weddings. She's going to have one in America and one in Ibiza, And I'm excited to go to that because I think that I'm struggling to imagine her idea of a wedding. I feel like it's going to be completely different to mine because we're both separate people entirely, like we have nothing in common. But I think it's interesting to just see the different opinions and the different styles that people have, like going through weddings and stuff. It's just interesting for me. So anyway, this was a wedding. It's pretty small, but I just like it. I just think that this would be a typical wedding, like especially in an industrial build, like at the back of one. I think it works. And it will look full as well, just having like 8 guests. It's also perfect because if they were to sit down in the restaurant, they could have like their own private bit whilst other people were around them, just like acting as normal, just having food and stuff, getting served. It would be great. It would just work out, I guess. Now, this was actually my favourite part of the build. So there is a stairway across here. I'm not too sure about where it leads to because I tried to find close-up pictures of it. Honestly, there was nothing. So I believe this goes down into a tunnel and it may actually lead on to the next building that is next to Tiana's palace. I don't know, but if you do know or if you have like an idea, then I would love to know what it is because I had no idea. And it would be interesting to see what everyone else thought of this and like how we could have changed it, I guess. But I was excited to show this bit with you because I thought that I got really creative during it. Like I felt creative whilst I was doing this. So what I decided to do is I decided to do loads of just like fancy things with those green curtain rails. I don't even know what they're called, but loads of restaurants have them. But I thought by making a cover for this, it would look as accurate as it could do to the actual restaurant. So had a lot of fun doing that. It took a while though. It probably took like 15 to 20 minutes just to do it, but I was happy with it. I was just really pleased with it in the end, how it turned out. And I think I'll be using this idea again as well. I mean, it's not perfect by absolutely no means, but it was the best I could do with the tools that I had. So the idea is it's just supposed to be a complete cover for that area. And what I actually did is Tiana's room is going to be leading up to those stairs. So she would go in a separate entrance to everybody else, and that is because I would imagine like when nights get really late, because they can at restaurants stay open so late that Tiana probably wouldn't want to go back home. She'd just want to stay at the restaurant and tidy up and stuff. So yeah, she could have her own apartment inside the build, and that was the idea for that. So you will see a separate apartment inside Tiana's palace, with the idea being that Tiana would be able to live there whenever she wants. And that would be a perfect let's play if you want to do that as well. Like you could definitely move a family in here and you can have it as their own home. Sometimes I do that with restaurants. I just really like the idea of having a family that lives in the restaurant and they don't really leave it. So it's pretty interesting stuff, but you could definitely do that. But anyway, that is the end of the build. So I really hope you enjoyed it and I hope to see you for part 2. Thank you so much for watching and I'll speak to you sometime soon.